All right. So hello, world, and welcome, Brandon Gaydorus. Thank you for joining me and for being our next featured entrepreneur of the month. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. When we first met, it was cool hearing that you were from upstate New York originally. It's not
Yes.
not too often you meet people from up that way.
No, we're kind of neighbors, sort of,
Yeah.
like 40 miles apart, but
Yeah. Upstate New York is such a foreign place to people in the New York City, Connecticut area that they don't even realize what upstate New York is.
no, they think it's Westchester.
Yeah.
It's not, no shades of Westchester, but you're not upstate.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm going to introduce you a little bit to everyone, and then we'll get right into our convo. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So Brandon Gaydorus is a speaker. He is a four-time author. He is the founder of Warm Heart Life. And so a little bit about Warm Heart Life. They are founded on the principle of growing together, or as you say often, Brandon, plus one, and to create purpose and increase profit because, and this is a quote I got from your website, because increasing profit creates I'm sorry, I can't read my own writing. Great accomplishments happen through a commitment to behavioral actions and collaboration. And
Hmm.
so you say that's essential to creating miracles. And you are also the co-founder of Speaker School with another one of the Black Business Connectors listed entrepreneurs, Carl Michel. So yes, welcome. And can you tell everyone a bit about yourself and your inspiration as a businessman?
I think one of the things that inspires me is we all have an opportunity to go after the things that we want in life. So at A to B conference, having the national anthem was a big thing for me because I wanted people to understand the opportunity that we have while we're on this earth to be able to go after the things that we want.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that inspired me to start Warm Heart Life is when I realized, like, hey, we have an opportunity to go after things. And some people don't realize that. And a lot of that's because of the things that we were taught, the
Mm-hmm.
way that we grew up, and the people that we surround ourselves with. So I wanted to create a company that everybody in the world could be a part of so that we collectively can get together with a great group of people that want to grow. Because if we can get around more plus ones, we're probably going to have better health. We're probably going to have better wealth. We're probably going to have better relationships. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, if you're around someone who consistently goes to the gym, chances are if they say they're going to the gym, you're probably going to go because you're probably going to feel like crap if you don't go. Chances are if someone's making more money than you, you're probably going to be inspired to ask them, hey, what are you doing to be able to accumulate that money? And they're probably going to give you answers so that you can take actionable steps to be able to do that. And another example is I asked this, so I'm not married, but one thing that has helped me get better relationships is ask people who are in successful relationships, hey,
Yeah.
how did you meet? Hey, what's working for you too? Hey, when there's a conflict, how do you resolve that? And that's what happens when you have plus ones in your life, you have the answers.
Yes, but you did say something a little bit right before you said you have the answers when you have plus ones. You talked about asking questions. So you're saying creating opportunity, but sometimes we don't even know when opportunity is knocking if we haven't asked questions from people who are already successful in their relationships, in their businesses, in their finances, or whatever area, right? We have to ask questions so we know and recognize when opportunity knocks. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Bible says something simple. It's very, very simple. It says, ask and you shall receive. And that was something that really helped me out when I heard that from a personal development guy named Jim Rohn.
Mm.
And the way he explained that is it just sounds so simple. So it's not just asking questions to people who have the results that you want. You probably hear that all the time on social media nowadays, but it's asking yourself, hey, what do I want?
Yeah.
who do I want to become? How do I want to be remembered as? We were talking about this earlier. When someone thinks of you, what do you want them to think of?
Yeah.
And one of my mentors, Brandon Dawson, says the quality of your questions determines the quality of your results. Now, if you listen to that
Ooh.
one more time, it's one of the most valuable things you can ever hear and apply in your life. The quality of your questions will determine the quality of your results.
Yeah.
So we're talking business. We're in the Black Business Connector right now. If you apply that one principle the rest of your life, you will, I can almost guarantee you will make a lot of money and make a lot of impact.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, Beth, are too humiliated to be able to ask a question. But successful people, they actually want to help. It's just hard for them to know that you want your help, because
Mm-hmm.
chances are someone who's very successful, they probably tried to help a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
in the past, and those people haven't taken the action that they said they needed to take to be able to get that result. So what happens is they fade away from helping people without knowing. But they do
Yeah.
want to help. You just have to ask, and you have to let it be known.
Yeah. I feel I mean, I was an educator for 20 years, but there's a lot of flaws in the education system. And I think one flaw is we're taught, or there maybe not blatantly, but it's kind of subconsciously taught, well, once you finish school, you're supposed to know and you're supposed to be an expert. And if you don't, then shame on you. So I think that there's this thing that once we graduate high school or college or get our master's or doctorate, like we're thinking we have to have it all together, but really life is constantly learning. Like even when we're 100, we should still be learning things.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because just recently I got to have a bucket list speech of mine at the A to B conference, which you did an incredible job doing the photography there, and my grandfather was there.
Yes.
And my grandfather is 95 years old, and I can't say he's ate the healthiest. I can't say he's had the healthiest lifestyle.
Uh-huh.
But one thing that I can say from a guy who's mentally sharp at 95 years old
Yeah.
is he said the moment when I'm not learning is the moment when I'm ready to hit the hay.
Mm,
And to me, that really hit me. It's like, okay, this is a guy who's in his 90s who's saying, if I'm not learning, it's time for me to go. And
wow.
this guy, physically he's got some limitations, but mentally he's sharper than a rock. And I like listening to people who have the results that I want.
Hmm.
And if a guy that's 95 years old is constantly trying to learn, why am I not going to make that an integral part of my daily routine?
Yeah.
So me personally, everybody has the right to do what they want, but me personally, a big part of what I'm trying to do on a daily basis is get better and
Hmm.
learn.
Yeah.
And that was a big inspiration to me. Hearing that from my dad actually told me that's what his dad told him. So my grandfather. So that really inspired me to continue to keep learning, even at past that age where they say, "Oh, now you're ready to make a career." It's like, I don't care. I would be going nuts if I wasn't learning. If I wasn't learning, to be honest, if I wasn't learning, I would probably be depressed. I'll probably be broke, and I'll probably be wondering what the heck I am doing on this planet.
Yeah.
Learning has changed my life, and it has given me a purpose in life.
Yeah. I feel like you did say something. I was actually going to ask you this a little bit later in our conversation, but since you brought up mental health with like depression and how you would feel like not purposeful, let me just ask it now because it kind of goes with it. So, um, fun. I had listened to recently, you did a video and you said you had asked people, how do you remember me? What was the first word that comes to your mind when you think of me? And people gave the word fun. And so yes, how, because a lot of times, business is not always fun. Sometimes there's
Nope.
losses, sometimes there's wins. Sometimes it's just like the tedious, back work, writing sales funnels, whatever it is, that's not really always fun. So how does fun and mental health go together, and how do you, work that into your business as much as possible?
Phenomenal question. So there's three keys to business. One, becoming known. Two, making sales. Three, retention. So I had a mentor say when the pandemic happened and we're all trying to figure out what do we do as
What
business
now?
owners?
Yeah.
And he said, I want you to call 5 people and ask them what they think of when they think of you. And now, based on their feedback, you're going to see how you're marketing yourself to the world. So the story behind that was one of the people I called I hadn't talked to since college. And I said, when you think of me, I got this crazy marketing assignment. I don't know why the heck I'm doing it, but my mentor said to call 5 people and ask them when they think of you, what do they think of? And he said, hey man, when I think of you, I think of fun. And the memories that I remember with him, I had a party house in college, was on the dance floor, dancing. I had no moves at all, but for some reason, after a couple drinks in me, I felt like I had like moves like I don't know,
Dancing with the
Shaquille O'Neal
Stars.
comes, yeah, Dancing with the Stars, Christian Perry, Shaquille O'Neal. I feel like he had some good moves too. Um, Not someone that people would think of, but he was a showman on the basketball court. And so I was like, man, I need to get some of that guy back into me. So with Warm Heart Life, one of the number one focuses, and it's actually in the core values, is to have fun. So I make that an integral part of the speaker school. It's like the speaker school is not just a speaker school. The speaker school is an experience. It's a mastermind.
Yeah.
Like we're going on a hike one day, we're shooting footage on the beach one day, we're going to a comedy show.
Woo.
And yeah, and a big part of that, that's a core value, is to have fun. So, even in the speaker school, we now do improv. We now expand on quotes and phrases. Like Carl will put Cardi B up there, and people will have to tell a story about a quote she made. And people were literally dying. Like that was the biggest hit of the mastermind, was the improv, and then expanding on quotes and phrases with people that you would never do a quote or phrase on. So that's a big part of what I try and do, even with the A to B conference, how we combine entertainment and business, not only with what we do after, but having fireside chats. And someone said in speaker school, they're like, Brandon, I don't know if you're doing this on purpose, but you're a lot funnier than you used to be.
Oh no.
And I'm like, and I'm like, yeah, I purposely have tried to be funnier, because if I could be more entertaining, then you're going to be more likely to want to listen to me and hear what I have to say. And I know what I have to say can inspire people to take the action necessary that can change the world.
Yeah.
So that's that story in summary.
I think what you've done is what is a good idea in general in business. It doesn't have to be entertainment and business, but you're combining different aspects together to create something unique. So it could be any types of combinations. It wouldn't have to necessarily be entertainment plus business. It could be like spa days plus business. I mean, everyone has their own type of niche, right? That an audience that they're trying to reach, but combining and creating and cultivating something where there's bringing like different aspects or arts or different qualities together, I think is a really great business strategy for, like you were saying, the third part. I mean, in addition to the sales part, the retention part, to keep people coming back from like A to B conference to enrolling in speaker school, and then going, oh, there's another A and B conference next year, let me come back to that one, and keeping people engaged.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to hear a funny story, since we're talking business, when Warm Heart started, I had no idea what the product or service was going to be.
Mm.
I had no idea. I just knew that if I studied the most successful companies in the world, Walmart, Pandora Jewelers, Starbucks, Amazon, and I put together core values
Mm.
similar to what they had, but based on what I wanted to do, then there was probably going to be something that was there.
Mm.
So 5 years ago, when I put together these core values, I had no idea what the product or service was going to be. But what happened was I started saying these core values every day. And I started to feel like an Amazon. I started to feel like a Walmart. And then a couple of years later, boom, this idea comes to my mind about having the most impactful education system in the world.
Mm.
But I had studied those core values. I had applied those core values for 3 years before that came to my mind.
Yeah.
And when that came to my mind, I knew that I could be the person that could get connected with the right people to help make this vision happen. So this hasn't happened, but I have a very strategic plan that is involved with that. And I have some very successful people in my corner that are helping me out with this. And that's the thing. Like, I don't know how to start a business. I don't know what to tell people there. I can just tell people how I started it.
Right.
And I truly believe I'm going to have $1 billion business in 8 years and 7 months.
Okay.
And that's because I studied multiple $1 billion businesses.
Yeah.
So, if you're looking to grow a business, if you're looking to understand business more, one thing that I would recommend, study them, study the ones that have worked, because clearly they did something right.
Something went well for them. Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely something, whether no matter what you feel about Amazon or Walmart or any of the Starbucks, right? They did something correct. Yes.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people who haven't done that, they're like, oh well, they got really lucky. Oh, it's like they hit the lottery. It's like I don't know. You could say that, you could think that, but I've studied. People say, "What's your favorite hobby?" My favorite hobby is studying success. I don't know if many people have studied success more than me. And the more and more I study success, the more and more I don't believe in luck.
No. Yeah.
I don't. I think luck is and faith. I think faith is huge. I think you need luck, faith, all that. But the harder people work, it seems like the luckier they get.
Well, yeah. I mean, and there's actually proverbs that will back that up. Like faith without works is not is dead. And there's different, there's different things like
Yeah.
I forget, like the sloth for the lazy, like nothing good comes to them. I can't remember what the exact proverbs are, but yes, there's proverbs to back that up, that we do have to put in the effort. We do have to work. I think it's interesting that you did it on a value and then you built from there without, and that didn't stop you. And I think a lot of times people get stuck and they freak out and they say, oh, well, I don't know where this is going. And I don't have all of the pieces yet. Like, I don't see the whole staircase. I don't see the whole plan. So let me just not go. But you hit go even before you had the whole idea down to 8 years and 7 months.
Yeah, and like one thing that I recommend that I learned from many people in personal development is to figure out, like, to whatever you're doing 40 hours a week that you have to do to make money, to make a living and pay your rent and put food on the table, do that. But all that other time, put towards growing something special.
Yeah.
And the first year was core values. The second year was writing a book on the core values.
Mm-hmm.
The third year, I did a mentorship internship program for free. I didn't charge a dime, but I got to coach students. And then I turned that into a book the fourth year called Skip College, Read This. And then the fourth year, I turned that into business coaching that I was doing at no cost until someone was making a certain amount of money. And then that's when I turned into the conference that eventually got turned into A to B conference the following year. And then that's when I started getting paid doing coaching. And then now the next year, that's when A to B Con really blew up, A to B Con 2. And now this is what I do full time. I teach people public speaking, going on a tour, and then I do business consulting. And then once a year we have the conference. So yeah, I mean a lot like I wouldn't, and I'm saying this all to say, like, I wouldn't start a personal development company if you're trying to get into business. Quite frankly, the only, if I wanted to get wealthy in my 20s, the only business that I would consider if I was doing this over again was a needs-based business. So a needs-based business is something that people need.
Yeah.
If you want to get wealthy in your 20s, go into a needs-based business.
Yeah.
Because people need it. So all you have to do is get really good at selling that product or service. You can get away with a lack of marketing. If you're going into a non-needs-based business, you better be damn good at marketing. And you better study it, you better apply it, and you better get good at speaking, you better get good at social media, you better get good at everything you can do to market yourself if you're in a non-needs-based business. So, now that I'm in my 30s, I feel confident saying, if you want to get wealthy in your 20s, go in a needs-based business. Real estate, people need a place to live. Insurance, people need insurance. Stuff like that, you can get very wealthy at a young age. Now, if you say, hey, that's not for me, understand you're going to have to get really good at marketing, and you're going to have to get really good at your skill set. And it's very possible to get wealthy in that too. It's just going to require a lot more work and a lot more time before the results come.
Yes. Yes. That's what my marketing coach said. She's like, wow, because you're a breakthrough coach and I'm, working on fear, evicting fear and confidence boosting and forgiveness. She's like, you're going to have a little harder time than the financial coach over here. So yeah. But it's worth it. So how do you, I'm curious, stay committed? So you get an idea like A to B Com, which takes you a whole year to plan and put together and produce pretty much, right? How do you stay committed and stay the course when you're in the middle of it? Like the idea, the initial excitement has kind of worn off. You're not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel yet. Maybe things aren't going according to plan or whatever it is. How do you keep that enthusiasm?
Yeah, I think that's a phenomenal question. So a lot of people want to have events, and very few people can actually pull off a good event. And I say this because I've tried to be a nice guy that has helped a lot of people with events, and very few people follow through on what I say you need to do. So I'm kind of getting to the point where I don't know if I want to help people have events, because a lot of people aren't putting the work that's necessary in there. And here's the thing. Here's the reason why most people fade away from an event. They don't know what the reason is they're having it is for. So me, I have a goal of having 10,000 student universities across 10 of the best cities in the United States. So I know I need to have that event to attract the right people into my life and into that vision. So Beth has been to both of them, and she knows one thing I do every year is I voice out my vision.
Yeah. And
then I update people on my 1-year goals. So that's one of my goals, because I need to attract people into my life. So I attended a lot of conferences when I was younger that were pitch fests, like pitch, come here, pay this. And then, I got a lot of value out of them, but I chose this year to purposely not do any pitching. A couple people had like books or whatever that I didn't care about that, but I chose no pitching at my event. I told all the speakers, I said, we're not doing any pitching. And I took a money hit on that. I packed that place, and I made the tickets about as low as I could. I took a money hit on purpose. I said, there will not be any pitching, because the number one thing I am trying to get is good people into my life and into my vision. And if I can do that, it will pay off down the road. And one thing I'm sick of at these events is these pitch fests.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? We're not going to do that here. And we'll see down the road if it pays off. But I think from the feedback I've gotten, people had a really good time there.
It was really good. I think you had really great speakers, and yeah, I think something gets lost. I don't have a problem with someone pitching. I know you don't either, but yet it can easily become like no content, no quality, nothing of value to the audience, to the listeners, to the attendees, and they just get pitched and then they walk away without really having deepened themselves, personally or professionally.
Yeah, and there's a right way to do it. Like, I'm not against it. I just chose for my event, that's how it was going to be.
Yeah.
Because one of the reasons it is good to have an upsell at an event is, one, because it gives people something that they could look forward to.
Mhm.
So there is positive benefits. For me personally, I wanted A to B Con 2 to be more of an entertainment, to be more of a show. That's why I came out in a boxing outfit. That's why I was wearing a tuxedo. That's why we had the thing at the palace. I wanted it to be a show, because shows people talk about for a long time if it really is delivered the right way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was a great idea. And I think, well, we'll see how the long-term result was, but I think people were talking about it for a while. So, yes,
Yeah, we're still posting content, and we got so much content from that.
you did. I know I just saw some posts the other day, yesterday. So, overall, maybe we've touched on this already, but what do you feel has been the biggest factor in your success so far?
My biggest factor is learning from people who have the results that I want, and then applying that. So I focus on winning the day. People focus on the long-term goal. I have a long-term goal, but I don't focus on that. I focus on what I need to do today to win today.
Mhm.
So every single day I play a game that if I get all of my things done, my 5 things, then I win the day. And
Awesome.
if I get all 5 done, then I live life. Like, people are like, wow, Brandon, you're such a normal guy. You like go out to the bar and like have a drink with us. I'm like, yeah, but I also got my 5 things done today.
Yeah.
So I did what I said I needed to do.
Yeah.
And
Fun.
I don't win every day, but I win a lot. Yeah. So I'm getting 5 times more. I'm getting 5 times more things done than the average person every single day.
I
And that
also
adds up over 5 years.
Yeah, I also feel that going out is a really important way to make new connections, even if they're not business connections. But I like working in cafes. Like, I'll take my laptop to it just so that I can be around people, and you never know who you'll chat with. It could just be interesting, you know?
Yeah. One of my principles is, where the people are, the opportunities arise.
Yeah. So let's talk about next level. We've chatted a little bit about it, but what does the next level of success look like for you?
Yeah. So the next thing that we're doing, me and Carl, we're going on tour.
Mhm.
We've sold out the last 5 speaker schools, and we're just like, okay, we know this works. We know this is bringing a lot of value to people, and now it's our duty to touch people around the country.
Mhm.
So we're going to Laguna Beach, Toronto, Chicago, and then we're doing an elite one in New York City. So, and then it's July, then we're doing one in August, then we're doing one in September, and then one in October. So one a month every 4 weeks for 4 months.
Yeah, I think, well, that also ties in with your goal for having your school in 10 different cities. So this is, I'm guessing, part of that expansion so that you start
Yeah.
getting your feet on the ground, so to speak, in other areas.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary, Beth. Like, I'm doing a event across the country. Uh it's like I can't even go there to look at the places. I have to convince people from over here to travel 6 hours. And I tell you what, Jim Rohn said, set goals that will make something out of you from the person that you become along the way. And the people that I'm connecting with out there already has been worth it. 100% worth it. It's given me a reason to connect to a lot of people I haven't talked to in a while. And then I have a lot of people who are helping spread the word that I probably wouldn't have stayed connected with if I wasn't having this. And I got new people coming into my life because of this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's scary, it's exciting, it's all the same thing, but we believe we have the best speaker school in the country. I don't know any other speaker school that creates a speaker reel for their speakers and goes in depth in how to actually structure a keynote speech and then actually makes them give a keynote speech.
Yeah.
And then does it in a way where we create a buildup for 3 weeks going into the speaker school. So you already have been practicing for 3 to 4 weeks before you get there.
It sounds like a lot for anyone listening once this, hits the YouTube channel and, goes out, but it's actually really not. And I think what you and Carl both do really well is, in addition to having very distinctly different personalities, you guys mesh well together, but you're also easy in the sense that it's not scary. Like, there's like, you guys aren't putting people down. You're not, it's not competitive. It's like a very friendly, safe environment that you've created for people to practice their skills. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, our goal is to ease you into becoming a phenomenal speaker. You're not going to become a phenomenal speaker overnight, but if we can ease you into creating momentum, it's going to be scary to see how good you become. And the thing is, looking at someone and having to have words come out of your mouth is worth so much, because it forces you to feel that pressure that you don't feel on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And Sean Crane talked about it on an Instagram live that I did. He said he was in jail and there was a speaking class for people who struggled with drug abuse. And he said he got in front of everybody and he started speaking and then he just froze up. And he said that moment pushed him to help start working on his speaking on a consistent basis, his writing on a consistent basis, so that he was not that guy that messed up. And instead, he was that guy that inspired, motivated, and impacted the people who were listening to him. And now he's speaking on really big stages. So I took his speaker school and I didn't even get to speak the second day. I was like, well, what was the point of this? And so we said, okay, the most important thing that these speakers need is to speak. So we started coming up with easy drills that people could work on, not only in the speaker school, but post speaker school, to become a better and better speaker.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things is he froze, right? And then now he's still going, right? So it is okay when you mess up. Like, it happens.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. And it doesn't really mean anything at all about your future or what you will be doing, unless you choose to let it. Yeah.
I've messed up a lot in life, Beth.
Yeah.
And I'm still here.
Yes.
I'm sure you have too, and you're still here.
Oh, yeah. Big time. So what do you think the secret sauce is that many entrepreneurs do miss?
It's a great question. So I think the secret sauce is I went to New York City once, and I was trying to figure out, what do the homeless actually need? And me and my videographer went down there and we just met a bunch of homeless people. We gave them waters, hand warmers, all this stuff in exchange for just a conversation. And one of the guys said, He said, you can go around the world. This was the best motivational speech I've ever heard. It was from a homeless guy near where the Knicks play, near Penn Station.
Uh-huh.
And he said, you can go around the world 1,000 times and you're not going to find what you're looking for, because what you're looking for is inside the palm of your hands. And people would say, well, why would you take advice from a homeless guy? Well, this homeless guy was happy. This homeless guy was happy. This homeless guy was the leader of the community. And this homeless guy had some of the best words that I've ever seen come out of someone's mouth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he said, you could go around the world 1,000 times and you're not going to find what you're looking for, because it's right inside the palm of your hand. And so what I think a lot of entrepreneurs mess up on is not thinking about enough. Hey, what is it that I want? Like, why am I doing this? And because if you can understand that, it's going to push you to do these things like I've done with the A to B conference, with the speaker school tour. When you're like, when the motivation starts fading, this is what helps keep it pushing. And then the second thing, I know is just one thing, but the second thing is the fastest way to get from point A to point B is to learn from the people who are at point B. So stop trying to stay set in your ways and do things the way that you feel like you should if you want to grow. If you don't want to grow, fine, do things the same that you've been doing. Just understand the people at point B have been through what you've been through.
Yeah.
So a perfect example is in college, I used to ask the kids a grade above me who the best teacher to take would be.
Oh.
Why do you think school was so easy for me? I asked the students above who was the easier teacher.
Well, that was quite savvy of you. I never thought to ask that.
Yeah, it's the same thing with business.
Yeah.
Hey, who's been there before you?
Yeah.
What did they do?
Right.
What do they have to say? What mistakes did they make? What did they do well? It's not rocket science, but a lot of people need to hear this over and over again. That's why I talk about this so much, because even someone who's heard me say it probably needs to hear this over again, because I need to hear it over and over again too. If you don't think I have issues, if you don't think I have problems, you're totally wrong. But when I do, I address it and I say, hey, who can help me solve this?
Yeah. Yeah, you have to address the issue. You have to like face and talk to the elephant in the room that you don't want to talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much, Brandon. This was really, really insightful and motivating and hopefully inspiring to a lot of people. So tell people how they can connect with you, how they can sign up for the speaker school that you and our other listed entrepreneur, Carl Michel, have coming up, those dates. Yes. How can people go about?
Yeah, so if you go to my Instagram, Brandon Gaydorus, there's a link in there to all the details, and then also a link to a 20-minute call with me. I can almost guarantee you're not going to sign up from the link. So sign up for a call with me, and we'll have a conversation. I'll answer any questions that you have, and we'll get you locked in.
Cool. All right. Yes, I just shared with someone. I did a mastermind, and I saw someone said, oh, my goal is to be a speaker. So I sent her your links. So
thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Yes. So, all right. Well, so Brandon Gaydorus is where they're going to go on your Instagram page. So I'll put that link as well in the caption and description below this video once it's posted. But did you have any last thoughts before we wrap up that you wanted to share?
Yeah, connect with people in here. Your network is your net worth. There's Beth has taken a lot of time to put together some incredible entrepreneurs in there. One thing that has worked really well for me in the groups that I've been in is just saying, hey, do you got time to meet for a virtual coffee? And when it's like virtual coffee, what is that? It doesn't matter. You just get on a Zoom and you talk, and you just have a conversation. And when you're on that conversation, ask these two questions. what do you have going on? What
Mhm.
have you been up to? And then the second one is, hey, what do you need to help accelerate that? What do you need to keep that going? What do you need to make that vision happen? And then help them find that need. It's one of the easiest ways to make money and to gather and to continue the momentum of a friendship that just started.
Yes, yes. Because that's the whole thing, is it's relationship building. It's not, yeah. We're there to serve one another. So, yes. All right. So thank you so much. I appreciate your time. And yes, have a wonderful day.
All right. Thank you, Beth. Appreciate you.
Yes.